Can you hear me? Can you understand me? Can you understand me? Can you understand me? I sip coffee. Can you understand me? Meow. 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 Yeah, there's no goats because there's not a lot of really great reaction images. My voice is only in one ear. Oh, that's an interesting. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see if I can fix that. Um, hmm. Advanced audio properties. Mono. Let's see if that helps. Wait, no, that's wrong. That one. Mono. Close. Let's see if that helps. Hopefully that helps. Uh, but yeah, um, I have just cats and then also a crow. Basically, I have a folder full of it's my shitpost folder, and I have a bunch of cat pictures in there. There's a lot of other pictures that are in there, but the pride of my collection is for sure my many cats that I like to post in people's comments whenever they say wild things. Um, yeah, well, let's switch. Ah, I'm quiet, am I? Let's just scooch her up a teensy smidge. I'm also not. Well, yeah. So here, I'll go ahead and switch over. Uh, I have my desk. I have my desk in a weird position right now, where it's in an L shape. So yeah, I am facing away from my microphone when I am checking into the actual stream setup. Yeah, let's go ahead and just jump over here. Hopefully, y'all can see me. Yeah, so let's scooch that up a little bit more. Okay, hopefully that all wakes. It's me. How in focus is that? That doesn't look terribly in focus. Let's see. Oh, this is terrible. Because I have it's like a 30-second lag based on. Actually, hold on. I have to do this on. I'm going to switch back over. I'm using my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera here as our overhead view, but in order to see what I'm actually looking at, I have to unplug it from my Elgato and re-plug it in to an external monitor that I have so that I can actually see what it's seeing in real time. Otherwise, I have to sit the 30-second delay or whatever, and that would be absolutely maddening. I wonder if I should close this aperture down a little. Let me see. And I'm using a manual lens, so there's no autofocus naturally. That's wide open. Yeah, that looks okay. All right, cool. We'll call that. I'm do one more. Me and my perfectionist tendencies. Yeah, that looks good enough. Okay, cool. I'll switch this HDMI back over. Jump back to the live panel. Of course, now it does look a little bit darker, but that's sort of to be expected. I guess I can go in here. Maybe not. Properties. So, filters. Nope. Flip. Whatever. Fuck it. Okay. Why is that? Is it just because it's at the lowest? That's why. Oh, why is it 480? Why is it outputting at 480? Sorry, y'all. It has been a while since I did a stream. Oh. That's a bizarre... Let's turn off any outputs to change. Well, okay. It's outputting at a weird resolution. That's fine. We'll live with it. I'm sorry, the video quality is 1990s level. Oh, you like my voice? That's nice. Thank you. Pardon me while I sip some coffee here. Okay, well, let's just go ahead and do the rundown here. So I have in front of me 3 N64 controllers. So I am, in the coming weeks and months, doing various projects involving my Nintendo 64, and I'm sure that I will discuss some of them later on in this stream. But part of this project involved me taking apart my N64 console and cleaning it, and also refurbishing my copy of Majora's Mask. And that got me thinking about other stuff, because I had heard that there are a lot of people who repair their own controllers and control sticks, and there are all sorts of mods and things. And so, as I'm gearing up to this project, which is at least partially about like getting the authentic experience with retro gaming hardware, excuse me, I thought it would be pertinent to just do a bit of clean and repair. As you can see, this one's kind of dusty. I think this one is the least dusty because it's the one that I've actually been using. So here's the deal. So the focus of what we're doing here, besides just sort of cleaning the dust off, is the control sticks. These are the things that I am the most concerned about, because as you can see on this one, it just sort of wiggles around in there. It's very loose, and this is a common problem with the N64 controller because of the mechanism that it uses to register inputs, and the fact that it's all made out of plastic, so it all degrades relatively quickly. So what my goal is here today is I'm going to take apart all 3 of these controllers. One of them I am just going to take, it'll be probably this one, I'm going to just take apart the control stick module, clean it, lubricate it, put it back together, and have it be all the original parts just sort of refurbished. For the second one, I am going to take it apart and replace those bits with injection molded replacement parts from Kitchbent, which are highly recommended online, and I even got a pink control stick for that one to differentiate it as a unique one. And then, lastly, for the third control stick, I got a total replacement module, which is a Hall effect joystick that is basically a GameCube controller stick that has been retrofitted to work in a N64 controller. So once I have these all cleaned and replaced, we're going to take a momentary break because I have to move my camera so that I can shoot the CRT screen where I'm going to be testing all three of these controllers. Probably starting by playing Star Fox 64, and then I might switch to some other games. We'll see how long that goes or how satisfied I feel with those results. And the idea is that with these projects that I'm working on and with a lot of the hardware I've been getting recently, I am not so much interested in capturing the feed directly from the Nintendo 64 into the PC, so you just get sort of the raw footage. I want to film the screen so that you can kind of see what I see. And then once we've tested the N64 controllers to our satisfaction, I think we'll then shift gears for a bit of fun at the end, where I show off some of the glitch equipment. This is just a little preview for you, a little box that I got. Some glitch equipment that I acquired that is going to be... I've been playing around with it a lot, and that's just analog glitch stuff this is just fun to look at, and I have ideas for how I'm going to be implementing it in future videos, but I just figured since we're already filming the CRT screen for the controller tests, might as well show off this Lullaby machine and some other stuff that I have. So, with all that said, let's get to work. I guess the only other issue is that I despise the Pikachu N64, which is the console that I have. I own the... I won't pull it out because it's all wired in and that would be obnoxious. But I have an N64 that I got from a friend a few years ago before I left Oklahoma that is Pokemon branded, and the N64 has a big, shapely Pikachu on it where... the on switch is a Pokeball, and the reset button is one of Pikachu's footsies. So I really don't like it. I find the yellow and blue really tacky. I don't like having brands in front of me. I've generally come to feel very ambivalent about Pokemon and Nintendo generally. So all of that is to say, I don't necessarily want this particular controller to be any of the ones that I expect to use. So I guess that means that it's going to be left with probably this one once I have fixed it. So yeah, I guess that's that. Let's see. So I have here some cotton balls. Let's go ahead and get some alcohol poured into this little thing here. And this is 99% isopropyl alcohol. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry for making suggestive noises. Oh, this. Oh, I must have. There must be a little break in the cord here because I covered it in electrical tape. Yeah, I went with my girlfriend earlier this morning to our clinic, and I had my blood drawn so they can tell me if I'm still a girl or not. And so I'm a little bit tired from having my blood sucked out. Whoa. Strong start. Smashing everything. We'll set you here. And I have, for the record, yesterday I took apart one of these controllers and to take apart the joystick module. I did not do any cleaning, despite the fact that the temptation was strong. I just wanted to take it apart to make sure that I knew how it worked. And I have some tutorials pulled up in another window for reference. Hopefully I won't need them, but we'll see. Out of there. How are y'all doing? How's life? I can tell that it's going to be a while before I hear from anybody because of this stream delay. Unfortunately, our internet in this place is pretty bad on the upload. Like, I have to go to the library to upload my videos. These horror vlogs, actually, when I was doing some early renders of them, uploading them on our internet at home, one of those, which was a little over an hour long, took 6 hours at least to upload. I took it to the library and it took 20 minutes. I feel so something about that. So yeah, that's unfortunate. I should have checked when I did some test stuff yesterday. I should have checked to make sure about the output resolution of the stream. Once again, I'm sorry that it's a little low resolution, but that's life. Let's see what people are saying. Taken apart. Oh yeah, rubber under the buttons. That's one thing I probably should do with these, but I don't have those parts on hand, and I haven't felt like the rubber of the buttons has been bad. Dare says, I'm alright, been doing a shit ton of sound work for different things. Yeah, working 6 days, 6-day weeks. Jeez Louise. God, I don't miss that at all. Have an overdue essay due today. Oh, I don't miss that grind either. Good luck. Don't be like me and just not do them. It's a great way to stay in college for a very long time. Okay, there's one. There we go. Make sure to separate these because these two screws are slightly smaller. Okay. So now we just be able to, just take this bad boy right off. There we go. So this is the inside of a Nintendo 64 controller. Let's see, surviving day from work, been breaking from a game after being an attorney last weekend. Ooh. Love to draw bunnies, that's always good. Today is my day off, so I made chili for the work week. Enjoying rain on my spring break. Oh, that's so nice. That sounds really delightful. So here's the little rubber bit for the Z trigger. So just push this little nubbin, slide this bad boy off as I do that. Now here's a bit of the titchy bit. This thing's got a... What the hell's that? Oh, that's so gross. Grab a little alcohol wipe here, just out of my own curiosity. Oh, ugh. Ugh. Oh boy, controllers are so gross. You know, you just get your dead skin all up in all them seams. Oh, that's so grody. That's fun. What's this side look like? It's probably not that much better. Ugh. Where you at? That's just not. There it goes. Wow, that's really caked on there. Trying not to kill yourself. Oh boy, aren't we all? Well, I'm glad that you're here for this stream, and I hope that you continue to not go through with it, because all indications to the contrary aside, life is in fact worth living, even in times like these. In fact, perhaps especially in times like these. Okay, back to the matter at hand. All right. Yeah, so now I gotta try to get this thing out. And I'm always really bad at doing this in a way that isn't destructive. Come on now. And of course, I have really brittle fingernails. Jeez Louise. Come on. Come on. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So now that that's good, I can take these screws out. It's just now occurring to me that, based on my own description of which of the joysticks is going where, that I probably shouldn't have taken this one apart first, but oh well. Oh, there went one of the shoulder buttons. Where'd that go? Oh, over here. I just want to make sure I don't lose track of those. So here's N64. Look at these two. Hall effect versus OG. Yeah, I guess I will. Wow, this one's real gross. Yeah, I think this one, just based on how it feels, this is the module that has gotten the least amount of mileage. So I think I will go ahead and do this one for the replacement bits. But I'm going to save the module and put it in one of these, and then I'll trade one of those out. Okay, so here is where the rubber really meets the road. Because I have not gone through the full process of actually taking this thing apart. Or I've not gone through the full process of, you know, well, you'll see. Because this, that's gross. Yeah, oh, there's hair in there. Yeah, there's a lot of weird bits and bobs here. I'm going to take a picture so I have a general sense. Let's see. So this, that's you, and that's you. Okay. All right. So let's see. How do we do this? Okay, that comes off fairly easily. All right, so the PCB's got to come off. So where's you? So you, yeah, okay. this little wheel here. Grab some more of these alcohol pads. I know I have these cotton balls here in this exposed thing, but cotton balls tend to leave stuff. Let's see. Waiting for a library to get back to me since I sent my resume. Oh, I hope you get that job. Library. I used to work at a library for a little while, and that was a fun gig. I liked that. I liked that job. When it helped that I was working at it was the university library, and I was in the reserve materials room. It was a work study gig. Couldn't do that today because of woke. That was yeah. So there wasn't a lot of traffic in there because that was for where students go. Now, is that correct? Do I want the gear on that side? Now we're really hitting. To the Polish can. Come to think of it, I never cleaned up my keyboard either. You don't need a thingy to pull up the keys, right? You don't need a specific thingy to do that. However, it is helpful as somebody who has cleaned up my my own there it is, my own keyboard a number of times. Yeah, you probably want a little thingy. It's a little bit easier, just so because it keeps yeah, cleaning your laptop keyboard, that's a whole other kettle of fish. I wouldn't even know where to start there, but yeah, the okay, I think I've got that right. Sorry, I'm a little bit distracted. All right, so you go in like that, and then the PCB goes in like that. Okay. And then is it like this? Hold on. I need to, where do, okay. Gotta get my little razor. Where is it? There it is. Ugh. Just noticing just a little bit of extra stuff here. A little extra plastic. Oh, the cool gothy transbian librarian. Oh, wouldn't. That's the dream. All right, now here is where the rubber really meets the road. We can set this stuff aside. Yes, let's cover our X-Acto knife so we don't accidentally slit our wrist. Okay, so try to keep doing this where the camera can see. All right. Okay, so this washer goes on the slightly wider bit. Okay. Let's just keep you like that. And let's pull you. Ugh. Yeah, gross. Okay, so let's just get you all nice and good. Nice and clean. Can't quite get in there, so let's get in this way. Yeah, now we're talking. Let's see. Sarah, do I have a favorite N64 game? Yeah, Star Fox 64 by a country mile. I played so much at Star Fox 64. It is probably frightening. I've played so much Star Fox 64 that I put Star Fox 64 OCs in my Homestuck fanfiction and made them extremely narratively relevant to the future of the story, just because I wanted to. Because nobody could possibly stop me. Right, okay. I have to lubricate some of these bits. Right, yeah, I can't forget that part. Okay, so yeah, what did that... I found a video from like 6 or 7 years ago that's of like a 14-year-old or 13-year-old kid, maybe 12. God, he sounds so young. But it's like a kid who's taken apart, who's just sort of running down how to do all this stuff. It wasn't the only video that I watched, but it was like the only one that I watched all the way through because I found it sort of entrancing. That this kid is like, yeah, and then you take this apart and you replace the PCB and you got to make sure to lubricate this bit and this bit and this. Like, man, you got nothing better to do, kid? Is this your life? I wish that was me. All right, so that's a lot of that. So we want to make sure it's not too much. Sorry, I keep taking this to where it's natural for me to go, and then I'm like, wait, no, you can't see a Dagdawn thing. Dagdawn? What the hell does that mean? Good gravy, Marie, I'm so full of shit. I'm just gonna check this kid's video. Yes, I want to leave Discord and go to this YouTube video. Thank you. Oh, right, so I'm using my laptop over here, and my laptop sucks. All right, cool. So that's all muted, so that should be fine. Let's see what he lubricates. All right. And then, yeah, he gets in these little crevices. That's right. Is this... All right, now I gotta jump back so I can see the chat. Good luck at work, Dare. Thanks for coming out. I hope you have a decent time at work and that it's not too terrible, too overwhelming. I'm gonna take this PCB back out since I'm fairly confident I know where this stuff goes. Yeah, get there. If you can get a job by way of nepotism, I highly recommend it. It seems like the only way that anybody can get a job anywhere these days. Sucks. That seems fine. Okay, well, we can get you back in there. Now, did this kid also do these little gears? Let's see. He's mostly doing those and that. And then he puts it all back together. Yeah, okay. So I'm on track here. Cool. Good, good, good. That's what we like to see. I never took apart an original Xbox. I was a little too young for that. But that sure seems like a daunting experience. All right, let's get you in there. Actually, what is this? So, since we've already got all this, I guess the way that the physical, like, this control stick is it's a totally analog mechanism. So these gears here have these tiny little, I don't know if the stream is a high enough resolution for you to really be able to see it, but these gears have these just tiny little windows that are just running along here. And then this PCB has these, like, sort of cameras here, not cameras, sensors, that pick up the movement in those little gears. And that's how it works. And I think that's pretty dang cool. That's a pretty neat mechanism. I really like Nintendo when they aren't the most evil. Yeah, it was the bigger one that goes on the bottom. Okay, cool. Let's get a bit more you. So what did y'all think of my horror vlogs so far, if you have watched them? I must say I'm pretty happy with how people have responded. You know, they're not blowing up any charts or nothing, but they get the job done. I had fun making them. Oh, it's okay if you missed the premiere for this one. That happens. Is that? Returning to my reference here. Just to make sure. He sort of takes everything apart. Pulls the PCB out. Yeah. Takes the gears. What does he do with them? So he lubes up the bowl. Lubes up those little divots. Sorry, this is profoundly boring on your end because you can't see the video that I'm looking at, but listen, that's how it goes. And then, oh, he loops up that thing too. But does he get... Let's go. Come on. So yeah, it gets there. Yeah, and that's that. And then, oh, which bit is that? Is that... Yeah, okay. I'm gonna get these little divots too. We'll just try to get some of that extra off. Okay, that's all right. Okay. And then he gets the stick. Gets those bits. I'm just trying to see, does this kid get those little gears? Come on. No. Okay, all right. All is well. Let's see. Every Sarah video is a good Sarah video? Aw. Oh, it's paid $5 to see them early. Hell yeah, thank you. I appreciate that a lot. Bit of a change of topic, but I remember you mentioned you used to be a gaffer or grip as someone who just got his first job as a PA on a real set yesterday. I want to talk about your film career trajectory. Oh boy. Oh, that's a hell of a question. Yeah, basically the trajectory was I was in I was in film. So I went to college at first for creative writing. That was my first chosen profession, basically, because I spent most of my my teen years and sort of young adulthood just writing all the damn time. So I went to school for creative writing and was in the honors program for about 2 years before I realized that nobody was teaching me anything that I didn't already know. I want to get some in here too, which, you know, is probably hubristic, but that's a college experience for you. So I realized that sort of what I had always wanted to do, I always loved movies, and I always sort of wanted to work in movies, and it just sort of hit me like, why am I not doing movies instead? I already know how to write. Why am I not doing movies? And so I transferred from from Oklahoma State University to let's see, so you go like that. Yes, so you slide in there, and then no, and then around. Come on, there we go. Like so. You fit? Yeah, that's a basic fit. I think that makes sense. Hopefully this works out okay. Or, hold on. Pardon me. I will continue answering your question in a moment. I just need to make sure this. Aha, yep. I probably want, yeah, I want that in first. Okay, so we'll take you back off. Right. So I transferred to the University of Oklahoma to do a film studies degree, and what uh, I wasn't sure if I wanted to. Well, no, you know what? I did want to go into film production, and yeah, I guess I I don't know. I went in very deliberately thinking I don't want to be a director. I don't want to be like, I don't know. I didn't want to go in with expectations of like what I was going to be. Okay, so that's not working. Something has gone horribly awry here. That's not ideal. I kind of figured that was going on because these seem really tight. Let's pull this out. Yeah, so I should just grease all this shit up. Do this again. Give this another shot. Yeah, so I went to film school thinking I just want to work in movies. I just want to see what it's like, and I didn't really have a ton of expectations. Oh, I should have. Are these exactly the same? Oh God, I hope these gears are exactly the same. They look exactly the same. It'd be very funny if they're not, and I just screwed everything up. Oh well. Yeah. So I went in basically being like, you know, they have this film program has a focus on production as well as studies, and that was always the kicker for me, is that I didn't want to just do one or the other. I wanted to do both. I wanted to work on movies and study movies because I felt like I don't know. I just had this visceral sense like you can't really have one without the other, and it's still sort of the critical orthodoxy in academic film studies that it's like, you know, you when you're a film student, you're not really making movies. You're studying them, and it's not thought of as like a necessary skill set for a critic to have, which is fair enough. You know, I don't necessarily expect that, but for me, I wanted to do both, and there just so happened to be a film production club that was going on at the time when I started at at OU, and you know, pretty much every university is going to have a film production club of some kind. If any liberal arts college, I should say, or a college that has a liberal arts component, however begrudgingly. So, oh, I made a real gross mess of this one. So yeah, and any college will have like a film production club, and the quality of such a club is entirely variable. It really depends on who is there and like how driven they are, because it is sort of the case that, like, you know, in undergrad, getting anybody to do fucking anything is like pulling teeth, and that's just a fact. But luckily, at our student film production club, it just so happened to be the case that there were like 5 or 6, maybe even more than that, people who were really serious about working in movies. There was two twin brothers, Todd and Alex Greenlee, that were in there at the same time, and they were sort of beloved by the faculty because they made very Coen Brothers-esque kind of sort of humorous, I don't know, short films, and got into a lot of local film festivals and stuff. But there was just I mentioned them by name because they have since gone on to make a couple of cute little indie movies. I worked on one of them, but yeah. So there just happened to be a number of people who were really serious about film, about working in film, and they were going to graduate like within a year or two, and so I felt very strongly that if I can ingratiate myself with these folks and get them to view me as indispensable, then they will take me with them wherever. So I went into film production very deliberately like, I don't want to be the star. I don't want to be an auteur. I don't want to be the director or the writer or anything, because I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what story I have to tell, or if I even have a story to tell. What I want to do is help other people to make movies. And that turned out to be a really great attitude to have, because when you're in the secondary film market, and at this point, any film market, you will never, ever get to make anything that you personally want to make. That's not true, but it's like 80% true. So yeah, I have a pretty strong work ethic. The benefits of being working class and having to make ends meet on your own. So yeah, let's see. Is that still feeling kind of? Maybe this really needs way more. Being a little bit conservative here, but maybe it wants more. Yeah, so I just got really good at doing the things that nobody else wanted to do. So I would carry shit, and I was just always there. And I discovered fairly quickly that I have an uncanny ability to know what people want before they want it, if that makes any kind of sense at all. And so I gained a reputation for, so these were still student film productions, where we weren't really paying attention to like who was in what department or whatever. So I got a reputation for being borderline psychic, where I would be standing around while the main creatives were sort of, deliberating what they wanted. And then they would be like, okay, we know what we want. Hey, Sarah, can you get, and then they would turn around and I would already have it. I gained a reputation for being uncannily good at knowing what my bosses wanted before they did, um, and being very game to experiment and you know, go about things in some unusual ways. Uh, and so, yeah, everybody liked working with me, and that is the number one tip that I could ever have for anybody getting into film is uh, make sure everybody likes you. If you show up and you do even 55% of the work and people like being around you, or even people don't hate being around you, uh, you will never be lacking for work. Um, I mean, depending, you know, there's asterisks to be taken into consideration there. But for my money, 90% of having a film career is just being there and not being a dick. I have known so many people who came into film work who were pretty good at what they did, but they were just so like entitled and not good at reading the room, and quickly became like resentful, you know? That's the worst thing, is when somebody becomes resentful and takes it out on everybody else, makes it everybody else's problem. Yeah, that part sucks. So I was very careful to not do that, and over time I discovered that I really like working in lighting. I really enjoy film lighting and yeah, just learning how everything works. These guys are spent. Yeah, just learning how things work, learning how lighting works. I took like a class at the School of Journalism about you know, film lighting and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know. So when everybody that I was working with on student films graduated, and they were looking for people who would be willing to work with them, you know, on new stuff, I was like, hey, I'm here and I'll do anything. So they brought me with them, as I sort of hoped that they would. You should be here first. Hopefully this works. That's still feeling really creaky. I'm going to be annoyed if this turns out to be like just a bad form of grease for this particular task. I swear I did my research, but one never knows how much that actually matters. Get off of goddamn fly. Sorry. So yeah, fuck off. Jesus. Yeah. So yeah, from there, I don't know. I just found that I really liked working in lighting. I was really curious about the work, and yeah, everybody liked working with me, and so they just brought me along onto paid gigs, and yeah, that's just I just sort of followed various more driven people um, into the field, and learned a lot, and really enjoyed my time. I think I worked I had like 2 years of really consistent work, and then I think I had another year or two of less consistent work because I was taking more time to finish my degree. And also, a lot of the people that I worked with had moved from Oklahoma to, some of them moved to LA, some of them moved to New Orleans for their film. For their film thing, for their film industry that they have. Maybe I want to put some on you. I'm sorry for not having, for just going off like this and not checking chat. As you can see, I'm a little preoccupied, and I'm enjoying the excuse to just prattle on extemporaneously about my life. So I reached a point where I was actually starting to break into real productions, and actually, weirdly enough, the big make or break moment for me wound up being when American Gods was filming in the state of Oklahoma. A lot of my friends, my roommate at the time worked on that and ingratiated himself with that production crew. I was not really like super focused on film by then. I knew that I was stepping away from it some. And so all right, whoa. Well, that's also not correct at all. Jeez Louise. I'm making a real mess of this one, huh? Okay, what's happening here? So you're fine. Right. So I was on. So I worked a single day on the television adaptation of Neil Gaiman's American Gods. Oh. Oh, whoa. It still feels a bit tight. Oh, thank God. Okay, that's feeling much better. I'm willing to call that good enough because I want to get to the rest of these controllers. So basically, my roommate was working on besides. I think it was before American Gods filmed. He was working on. They did two back-to-back productions of Hellraiser 10 and Children of the Corn 10. And my roommate at the time worked on both of those productions. And from there, he managed to get enough hours to, I think by then that put him over the line to join IATSE. And so he then got a set design gig on American Gods. And then there was one day where they were shooting somewhere, but they needed some extra hands. So he vouched for me. And I'm taking apart this other controller before putting together the other one because I don't want to put this module back in that one. So he vouched for me, and I got on a day, and there wasn't really a lot for us for me to do that day. I was sort of doing just some basic grunt work, but I had a good time, and just by virtue of being there, one Oklahoma producer. I should say I sort of skipped over. One of the benefits of working in a small market film industry like Oklahoma is that there are fewer people. But if the state has a tax rebate program, then you'll have like LA productions that come out and do stuff. So Oklahoma has a film rebate. And I don't like film rebate programs generally. I wish that governments would just directly fund productions rather than giving them, reimbursements after the fact, because that pretty much makes it impossible for indie films to I don't know, just like the tax rebates are designed for outside companies to come in and spend their money in town, and not really to foster a local film scene, which was what I always wanted. I always liked Oklahoma, and I always thought that it was very well situated to have a good film culture, but I never didn't really work out that way because it's it's a conservative state. So most of the stuff that I worked on was like fucking preachers commercials and fucking awful rich guy snuff films. Anyway, so I by the end of my first year, even working just on student productions that sort of branched out into a few professional productions, I knew a bunch of people, a bunch of producers in the Oklahoma film industry, and by the end of year 2, I was on a first name basis with most of them. So oh wow, this one is my original N64 controller here, and I have pictures of me as a little kid getting this on my birthday. But wow, this one I've really got to clean. So by that point I knew basically everybody working in the, so I was, I could get jobs pretty easily, pretty fast. And yes, there are 10 childrens of the corn. There might be more by this point. So there was, I was well situated with the local industry in a lot of ways, and I had a lot of connections, and the various people who are known for working in Grip Electric in Oklahoma really liked working with me, and I loved working with them, and I missed them a lot. But it was American Gods where I had that day, and it was a fun, if really hot day. And then, like, a week later, the producer on that film, or that series, one of the local producers, I should say, called me and said, "Hey, can you get to Tulsa in by the morning?" And the thing is, I didn't have a car. I never had a car. I always bummed rides from other people. And this was always my biggest weakness, not just in film, but just generally, because Oklahoma has no public transit. I was always at the mercy of who could or couldn't give me a ride. And it was at that point when I had to tell him, sorry, I can't make it. And I heard it in his voice that he was never going to call me again for another job ever, that I was like, all right, I can't do film. I can't focus on film without a driver's license in a car in this state. And I don't want to leave this state yet. And so that was the point at which it was a number of factors, because that was the point where I was starting to realize I was transgender and wanted to focus on some other stuff. I wanted to focus on finishing school, and I also wanted to focus on my YouTube channel and making video essays and stuff. And so that was the point at which I decided to consciously step back from film production, and not waste anybody's time, because I finally, once I was out of the realm of like Oklahoma City local, because Tulsa's pretty far away. There's not really a good way to get from Oklahoma City to Tulsa without a car that's like reliable, you know. Yeah, that's my whoa. Oh, Jesus Christmas, that's gross. Wow. Look at that. Oh my God. Oh, this is my original N64 controller. Look at all that. Oh, that's so gross. Oh, wow. Oh, that's so disgusting. Anyway, so yeah, that was sort of, it was like demoralizing to realize this is all like ground up plastic and probably dead skin cells. It was sort of demoralizing to realize that I couldn't, I finally had, once I got away from Oklahoma City local productions, I finally reached the threshold of usefulness of like, without a car, I cannot be dependable at this point. I'm too old to rely on other people for rides anymore, and it would just get sad and embarrassing the longer that I tried to make it work. That was my feeling anyway. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I could have made it work. But more to the point, just personally, emotionally, I was ready for a change of pace. I was ready to do something different. I wanted to focus on, I loved working in film, and I miss it. I do still miss it. But I also very, very distinctly understood that it was so physically taxing for me that there was no way that I could ever hope to do that and do video essay stuff at the same time. I would just not have the energy for it. It would be like, that would be my entire life, is working in film, because that's what it takes. That's like, because you're working 12-hour days, at minimum. You're working 12 hour days, probably 5 days a week at minimum, possibly more, depending on the production, depending on where you live, if you're on a union shoot. And for me, working in Grip Electric, that's a lot of manual labor. That's a lot of carrying shit around, heavy shit, and setting it up and tearing it down. It is a physically taxing job. It's really fulfilling. It's like creative manual labor. It's fascinating and wonderful, and I really genuinely, very thoroughly miss doing that work. And I've been thinking about getting back into film. I'm now at a point where I have my own movie ideas, and I should get my little blower here. I sometimes think about. Ugh. I don't know. I sometimes think about getting back into it. There's a transgender film club here in Seattle that I am in the Discord of. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm in a Discord for a local film production / appreciation club. So far, there hasn't been much movement on actually making anything, which I sort of assumed would probably be the case. And I imagine that if I want that to change, then I will have to step forward and try to get something made, because just based on now, this is what I was wondering. So these on this module were really tight and struggled to move, but these are spinning. So that, although I don't know, this is feeling okay now. I think this is feeling tight, but maybe we want tight. Maybe this is bad. Make sure there's no stuff in the windows. Wait, I've got to lubricate these things before I fucking put them back in. Don't get ahead of yourself, Sarah. Jesus. So, yeah, I guess that's the story of my film career. I respect being able to recognize when you're ready to tap out. I'm at the outset of trying my own balance of set jobs and creating video essays. Maybe I'll face the same thing you did one day. Yeah, maybe so. And I know people who work in film who do video essays and they can make it work. Yeah, I don't know. It really depends on your own work ethic and your own, sensibilities. It's extremely subjective. It's tough work, but it's tougher for some people than it is for others. I found it to be very natural. I felt very at home on a film set. I still, like I said, I really miss it. I miss working in film. And I often, whenever I'm like sick of whatever bullshit my job supposedly is now, I often find myself fantasizing about just saying fuck this, and then begging some of my contacts to be like, can you get me another gig? Even though I have forgotten so much of what I knew in terms of specific technical knowledge, to say nothing of the fact that the actual technology has evolved so much in the time that I haven't been working. Like, the kinds of lights that are standard now are just a totally different paradigm than what I was taught when I was in film school. So I would basically be starting from nothing. So I don't know. I'm increasingly thinking about trying to do some kind of low-key production here in Seattle, because I do have film equipment and I have experience, and maybe, I don't know. Sometimes I think about if it would be nice to, like, teach like a young person's filmmaking class, like teaching the basics to young teens. I don't know. That's the sort of thing I like to imagine doing with my future. But maybe I'm not quite. I'm a little bit too old now to be able to do the kind of manual labor that I used to do. This is the other thing. This is another big part of why I ended up quitting, is that on top of how physically demanding film work is, I had already worked for a very long time in a number of very physically demanding, quote unquote, entry-level jobs that had very severely um, affected uh, my physical health. Um, so I was able to push through it in my 20s, but I could very distinctly tell as I was nearing the end of my time in the film industry that I I was pushing myself too hard, and I needed to. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just felt like I was pushing myself too hard, and needed a change. Needed something that was a little bit less uh, destructive. That left me with some more time, and I also just needed time because I was fucking trans and uh, still coming to terms with it. You know, yeah. Um, is that my whole story? Is that the story of my film career? I guess that's it. I guess that's the whole thing. There's lots of ups and downs, other bits and bobs. One of the I don't know if I can tell the actual full story, but I did work on a number of productions that were funded by a guy that I affectionately slash neg refer to as the Harvey Weinstein of Oklahoma. Fucking despicable guy. Very. He got me too'd. I hope he's still not fucking. I hope he's not a thing over there anymore, but I haven't checked. But yeah, that guy sucked. There was a lot of exploitation in the Oklahoma film industry because it's a right to work state, so they can't mandate union work, basically, or union membership. So yeah, there's a lot of exploitation. Let's see. Let's catch up on the chat. I'm just here to appreciate the meow meow and the yeah, same. After I graduated from film production, I ended up working as a stagehand, and it's disheartening to feel, oh fuck, my body isn't made for this much labor. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame. It sucks when you realize that your body can't keep up with your heart, you know? I still wonder, you know, if I actually was at the start of the end of my rope, so to speak, or if I could have, I don't know, muscled through it and found something else. Yeah, it's I don't know, it's complicated. Stuff's complicated. However, I think working in film, even if it doesn't last forever, is a very worthwhile activity and very educational, if I dare to put it in such, I don't know, such schooly terms. I did find it to be genuinely working in such a heavily unionized industry around so many skilled craftspeople of highly specific disciplines, and seeing the ways in which they were being exploited, both deliberately and accidentally, seeing the social dynamics that emerged among them in our communities, and yeah, I don't know, just all of it was very educational for me from a labor perspective. Yeah, I learned a lot, and I highly recommend it. Let's see. CM said, Ida Bunny says, I'm from Oklahoma too, so your experiences are really... Oh, wow! Oh, where are you from in Oklahoma? I'm very curious. You don't have to tell me, but I'm curious. Let's see. I was going to get an art degree when going back to college this year, but I took an art class, and even in my mid 20s, it was too much for my wrists and back. Oof. Yeah, it sucks. It's not a great feeling. Um, However, that said, I think you know there are ways for one to find uh, a place in our desired uh, creative field, even if it isn't the place that we hoped that it might be, if that makes sense. I certainly feel, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really believe that anything's wasted, if that makes sense. Um, I feel very strongly that even if your desired career doesn't quite pan out, that it is still something that adds to your life, to your experience of the world, and helps you figure things out. Tulsa, yeah, now you're in Colorado. That's really the experience right now, isn't it? Everybody that I know, certainly every trans person, just about every trans person that I know, is like either they are in an attempt to flee, or they have already fled, and the places that they have fled to, it is either Colorado or Washington. And then there are some people who have fled to LA, which, for job reasons, I can understand that. Even though I think LA is a fucking cesspit. I hated I hated my time there. I went to visit a couple of times for film stuff. Worked on a documentary about the architect Bruce Goff, and we went on a week-long road trip across the West. That was one of my favorite productions that I ever did, which is funny because I was actually in an extremely bad mood the entire time, because I was on a medication, not a mood stabilizer, an antidepressant that just did not agree with me, that just gave me anxiety. Um, but yeah, we went through LA and stayed there for a bit, and I was like, dude, this place kind of sucks. And then I went there for film student trip when I was in school, and we met a former OU student who then was an editor in the industry, and the idea of the trip was like, you'll get to talk to an actual OU grad who uh, works in the industry, and won't it be so useful to hear their experiences and get their advice? And it was cool. It was cool. It was a cool experience on some levels. But the guy that we talked to was so matter of fact about how much he really didn't like LA. Where he was just like, yeah, so when you first move here, you're like, oh, it's Hollywood. There's the sign. It's beautiful. I'm here. I'm gonna make my dreams a reality. And then you live in this sort of heightened fantasy for about 2 years, and then you realize I kind of hate it here. And then you spend 4, what was it? Was it 3 years wondering why you came here and what the hell possessed you. And at that point, once you've reached the end of that road and made peace with the fact that you're going to die in this awful place, that's when you're from LA. Yeah, Mikey Allen. Yes, this is one of the controllers from the Hey You Pikachu N64, which is the one that I have, as it is now falling apart. That's inconvenient. Oh well, that's what I get for flipping it over. That's okay. I don't really like that controller anyway. Fuck, what was I saying? I'm saying something. Who knows? Oh yeah. So yeah, he was just very matter of fact about how much it sucked, and I think about that exchange all the time. There's just like, yeah, and then once you've hated living here for about 3 years, that's the point at which you're from here. I find that to be that very distinctly convinced me that I didn't want to live there, and frankly, I'm glad that I didn't go. So now instead, I live in Seattle, which never makes me mad at all. I love it here unambiguously, and I have no problems whatsoever with the politics of the place or the people who live here. It's just sunshine and rainbows, people. Seattle, it's a utopia. Ha 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 ha. Although the sad thing is that compared to Oklahoma and frankly a lot of the country, it is kind of a utopia. It's just a shitty one. It's a utopia in the sense that public transit exists, although there are some cheeky motherfuckers in government who would like for it to not exist. But let's see, get you in there. And there's public transit. Healthcare is pretty okay. And I don't know. You know, they respect trans people. As an outsider, sadly, as an outsider, all of USA seems like a mess right now. I mean, that's completely fair. Oh, this is still pretty wiggly. That's about what I expected. So yeah, this is original hardware, just cleaned and refurbished, or cleaned and re-greased, I guess I should say. Not, maybe this is what refurbishing is. I don't know. Okay, that's good enough. All right, let's put you back together. Yeah, I would say of all the places to be in this country, I would rather be here than basically anywhere else. It's, you know, I don't want to oversell where we are, generally speaking, but I do. No, I want to put you into this one. Yeah. Okay, so let's bring you back over here. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff about, you know, this state that's frustrating at the moment because we just elected a new governor, who is like he's a Democrat, right? And he comes out the gate like, you know what this state needs? Austerity. We have this big budget crisis, and so now is the time to cut funding for everything, which is not something that anybody asked for. In fact, the state of Washington is like the only state in the country, or one of the only ones, that didn't swing far right. It actually swung further left. And in that election, there was a ballot measure that involved a tax. And then there have been several other taxes that we voted very much in favor of recently. So the idea that the people of Seattle or of the state of Washington are like, we must cut programs. It's like, you people are fucking crazy. Nobody asked for this. And it's like, it's genuinely taken everybody by surprise. Like, even staffers are leaving his office because it's like, we didn't sign up for an austerity regime. This shit sucks. So I don't know. Hopefully that gets resolved. Is this right? That's right. Cool. I already cleaned this one. Yeah, so I can just do this. Now, is that all the parts? I think that's all the parts. Now I can just slide you back on. Oh, and it fit like a glove. Oh, I love it when that happens. Beautiful. Okay, so let's do the body work first. But I don't know. There's a lot of trans people in this state, and our rights are enshrined, and there is a pretty real strain of progressivism here that is challenged, and definitely, I don't know, it's an uphill battle. It's an uphill battle for everybody everywhere. But I've never really been in the mindset of like, it's time to flee the country, because this shit's happening everywhere. Where am I going to go, man? What am I going to go to the UK? Am I go to fucking, I don't know. It just doesn't seem, I don't know. This is where I've lived. This is where I live. This is my home. This is my place, and I am sick of the way that we're all just so fucking excited to cede territory to fascists. Just be like, oh, a fascist has come into power. Time to leave the country forever, as opposed to like fucking doing something about the fascists, maybe. But oh, I don't know. America is definitely a mess at the moment, which is part of why. That's sort of part of what this project is all about that I'm doing with the N64 stuff. Is it's a bit of deliberate artistic escapism, and I never know how much I want to explicate the specifics, because I have a bad habit of laying out all of my plans, and then once I've laid out my plans and spoken them out loud, I'm like, cool, now I'm never gonna do that. It's very easy to expend creative energy on the act of describing something you want to make, without realizing it. All that said, I'm going to be doing a analog review of Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, which I have never played through all the way. I was always bad at video games as a kid. I'm still bad at video games now. But it's a game that I have agreed with the consensus is one of the best games that they ever did make. So I figured it's probably a good time, probably a good idea to actually play through that game all the way. And I have it on the N64, and I have a CRT. And I'm always crowing about how games from this era, um, you you don't really get the full experience if you're not playing them as they were originally designed. You know, you're not if you're playing. I guess some of this is, you know, I have my own little gripes whenever. Yeah, that's not gonna work. I gotta use an alcohol pad. Um, whenever somebody is like, oh, the graphics on Star Fox 64 haven't aged very well. And then you look at what they're complaining about, and it's like, oh, yeah, I have a ROM of Star Fox 64 upscaled to 4K on my PC. Like, yeah, no shit, it looks bad. That's not how it was meant to be looked at. That's not. I shouldn't say how it was meant to be looked at, because that ascribes a level of artistic intention behind being viewed on a CRT, and that's not really accurate. I guess the way to put it is that was the paradigm under which it was developed. That was it was expected that you would play this game on a CRT because that was what was available. That is what it was developed on, and that is what it was played on by people at the time. And it is not a lesser experience to play it on PC or even to play it on like Nintendo's online Switch thing. I know they have Star Fox 64 on there. It is not like, you know, it's not like you haven't played Star Fox 64 if you've only played it on the Switch or whatever. But I do think that there are certain complaints that one fields against older games where it's like there's the famous example of the water in Sonic the Hedgehog, of the waterfall, I should say, where when it's a pixel art waterfall, and when it's just on your regular computer monitor, it just sort of looks like lines of pixels. It's like, it looks fine. It looks like it's pixel art. It looks fun, but it's not, you know, it's pixel art. But when you see it on a CRT, suddenly it just looks like a waterfall because of the way that a CRT draws its image, and sort of blends things together very naturally. It's just a very different visual and experiential mode. And so, yeah, I want to get into that. I've always liked retro stuff. I mean, this isn't. Is it fair to call the N64 retro when it's like, this is literally what I had when I was a kid? Like, is it retro if it is in your living memory? I guess it must be at a certain point, right? But yeah, I don't know. I'm in this place of like, I want to put the pedal to the metal on this front, and everything is falling apart. So I thought it would be fun to do this project where I am playing through Majora's Mask on the N64 on a CRT with my refurbished controllers, and using only the original Nintendo Power Player's Guide and the controller manual, the instruction manual that came with the game. Using only those are my only two resources, so I'm not allowed to go online and look up FAQs or anything. And so there is an element of this that is very like rote nostalgia bait, and that's part of why I hate this controller and this logo and just everything. It's so easy to fall into this trap of just like, this thing from when I was a kid was better than the things that are available now when I am an adult. And I definitely am certain scientifically that it has nothing to do with the fact that the thing that I liked when I was a kid was something that I liked because I was a kid and I didn't know anything else. There's just a lot of, frustratingly, I see like it's one thing when like a gamer does this, when sometimes you're just nostalgic for something and that's fine. But I see like fucking Adam Conover whenever I bother to watch some of his videos. He does this shit where he'll like, it's time to go back. We need to return to the model that was standard when I happened to be a kid. And it's like, come on, man. Let's be real here. Come on. You don't, there's no going back. It's impossible to go back. You gotta take the lessons that you can from the past and find ways to apply them to the present so that you create something new. And I find it deeply frustrating when people just sort of lean on rote nostalgia. So going into this project where I am very deliberately playing an N64 game on, it's all about nostalgia and all about, the original experience. But I'm doing it to play a video game that is about a bunch of cartoon characters grappling with the fact that they know they're gonna die. And I find that to be a really interesting and kind of frictive subject to be taking on at this exact moment when I am using when I'm using Majora's Mask quite deliberately to not think about politics at this moment. And I don't really want to allow myself to get away with it. You know what I mean? I don't want to get away with it. I don't want to just do rote nostalgia. I don't want to just focus on what works. What makes me feel good. I want to do a little bit of escapism. I want to engage with it, but I don't want to pretend that that's all that there is, and just let that sort of dominate what I'm doing. Breaking out a little other piece. I'm gonna clean this control port, memory port thing here. But yeah, so that's sort of the idea, is that I want to find a way to explore this stuff without just relying on, like, you remember? Wasn't life so much easier when you didn't know what politics was? I want to interrogate that, and I think playing Majora's Mask is a good way to do it. All right, I'm going to catch up on the chat here because it's been a minute. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Zoe says, Utopia a bit shitty. Perhaps you would be interested in a story you've probably not heard of. It's called The Ones Who Walk Away from Romulus. Jesus Christ, you're always pulling this. Let's see. Feels like it's mostly a mess. Yeah. Colorado is nice, but everywhere is trade-offs. Yeah. Let's see. Don't be afraid to look up guides, though. Majora can be a little obtuse. Well, that's why I have the original Nintendo Power Player's Guide. As worthless as my opinion is, thank you for sending your opinion out into the world. Oh, well, that's arguably what my job is. I'm glad that it means something to you, resonates with you. Fast Plant 64. I just recently got access to an original Xbox, so I've been playing through the early Halos and Max Paynes for the first time with my. It's been yeah. Those early Halo games are so good. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, 20 years is retro, 30 years is classic. Oh boy, hate that. I don't like that at all. Um, Sonic is all about that blast prospering, meow meow, blast processing. Uh, oh yeah, there you go. Blah 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 blah. Everything's so rotted out, but our whole framework for understanding what not rotted out looks like is '90s treat machine go burr. Yeah, our definition of not rotted out is we have rigged the fall of the Soviet Union and capitalist realism has won forever, which is not actually. Perhaps this is controversial. Not actually my opinion of what a good system for the future, a good basis for what we want the world to look like. You know, I don't want the future to look like the '90s because the '90s sucked. I am of the mind that we should be imagining new futures that use the lessons of our prior mistakes as the foundation for something new. Dare I to bother? This is gross on the inside of here. Dare I even bother trying to clean this because it doesn't really matter? Well, now I'm doing it, so I guess I'm doing it. I want to move on to the fun part, but we're almost done with the controller repair bits. We'll be moving on to the actual testing in just a moment, because the most annoying parts I have now completed. So let's get this one back. I've just got one more controller to take apart. And then we'll take a quick break, and I will have to move my camera, so that'll be a bit of a hassle. But once that's done, we'll be on with the rest of the stream. The woker. Wasn't it so much easier when you're a zygote? That's why gamers want to return to before Wind Waker, the woke Zelda. Which was the game I was playing as a kid when my dad had cancer and passed away, so it's always been a depressing escape for me. Yowza. Yeah, that makes sense. That tracks. I'm very sorry. Yeah, my most meaningful Zelda is the Wind Waker. I wish I could say that I had this like really very specific personal relationship with it, but sorry, just testing this. This feels a little sticky, but whatever. I can always make further adjustments on my own time if desired. I'm sort of skipping out on cleaning these a little. But Wind Waker was the first one that I got with my own money and that I played through all the way, start to finish, on my own Steam. When I was a kid, I had Ocarina of Time, but I could never get past Jabu Jabu. That was where I reached the end of my skills, and I had to get a neighbor to help me finish the rest of the game. And by help me finish it, I mean just play it for me. So Wind Waker, and frankly, I haven't even played through all of Ocarina of Time on my own Steam. So that's something that I should probably address one of these days. But Majora's Mask especially is an egregious absence in my game experience. But Wind Waker, I was so excited for that, and I was big in the console wars on the side of Nintendo. I I was a GameCube true believer, baby. I was all in, and yeah, I've always found that one to be the one that was the most thematically interesting and resonant on a lot of levels. I always thought it's, I don't know. It's just there's Jacob Geller video that's like every Zelda is the darkest Zelda, and that's, that's funny and that's true, whatever. But for me, there really isn't a contest. For me, the darkest Zelda is in fact Wind Waker, because it's a child's perspective on a post-apocalyptic living scenario where the whole world is just sort of barely hanging on, and you're basically trying to put a little bit of happy polish on top of it by planting flowers all over the place and remind everybody that it's not, it's not all bad. And then, I don't know, I love the ending of Wind Waker. I have most of a script about Tears of the Kingdom written, where I most of my complaints, I never know how to finish that video because most of my complaints are about the narrative, and that feels like, you ever, as a story bitch, you ever have this issue where you want to complain about a video game story and then you start complaining about it and then people say, well, like, yeah, of course the story sucks, that's not the point. Okay. Cool. Great conversation, I guess. Thanks, everybody. That feels like such a prevalent thing in games where it's like, I don't know, I want to engage with the story sometimes, and then people are like, well, the story doesn't really matter. Like, of course the story in Tears of the Kingdom sucks. Like, it's all about the gameplay, man. And the gameplay is so good, and the gameplay is all right. The gameplay is pretty good, but I just felt like the story was such a huge letdown, especially from the potential that it very clearly had. And yeah, I have a script that's like partially written that is complaining about my personal bugbears with what I think Tears of the Kingdom gets wrong or could have done better, and then there's bits of it that are just straight up fan fiction. Like, I have a section, I think I published this on my Patreon actually ages ago. I have a section that's like an imagined conversation that happens between Rauru and Ganondorf, where Rauru wakes up, because, the whole thing is Rauru imprisons Ganondorf under Hyrule Castle and just has him there for thousands of years or whatever. And they're just sort of stuck there in slumber or whatever. But I imagined that what if Rauru woke up one day and Ganondorf doesn't, and he's just stuck there, sort of staring at Ganondorf in this like pose of violence for however many hundreds, thousands of years, and I just wrote him like staring at Ganondorf like, what? Why are you doing this, man? What's the point? What are you about? Why would you do this? Why would you put me in this position of having to do this? And there's just sort of a dialogue that's like, essentially my attempt to process the fact that Ganondorf as a character in that game just doesn't do anything, just doesn't really have anything going for him. He's just sort of there. He doesn't really have his own motivations, especially compared against Ganondorf in the Wind Waker, who is so interesting. Oh, this one is so nice. That just popped right out. I didn't even have to do a daggone thing. Oh, you know what? I think this is the one that I took apart yesterday as practice. That explains it. Um, yeah. I don't know. I always feel like that video. Anytime I want to complain about narrative and especially a game like that, I feel like I'm just gonna be, I don't know, fighting against fighting a losing war. I never really know where to land, but I do feel like that game dropped the ball in a pretty significant way, and I don't know. I wish it had been different. I wish it had been a better video game. And this one's easy because this module is just already pre-done, so I can just plug it right in. But I'm gonna clean this situation up. Let's see here. Oh, buy the Polish can. Was it only 100? No, it can't have been 100 years because it's been 100 years since Breath of the Wild. I think it was 1,000. I think it was 1,000 years in Tears of the Kingdom. I'm pretty sure that it is, because it was 100 years between the events and the start of Breath of the Wild and the end. So I think it's longer than that. But right, I was gonna clean this. Yeah, I don't know. I found it really frustrating that, like, Tears of the Kingdom was starting to try to explain some of the lingering ideas from Skyward Sword. I like the idea of bringing the Sky Islands back and maybe building on that sort of sky culture that was set up in that game. And I'm not expecting like a linear sort of continuing narrative, even in a game that is explicitly a direct sequel. I was not expecting, like, you know, Groose to come back or whatever. I was excited to see what they could do, because is it Hidemaru Fujibayashi who directed Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom? I always felt like Skyward Sword is a dog shit video game. I hate it, but it has some interesting ideas. And I feel like Breath of the Wild is what Skyward Sword wanted to be. And I was hoping that Tears of the Kingdom would be even more that. But unfortunately, it didn't quite work out that way, you know? It just didn't quite work out that way. It feels, I don't know, it feels empty somehow. It feels like they, I mean, you know, I'm always trying to negotiate. I'm trying to be like, listen, I understand that there's only so much that one can expect or whatever, but it does feel like they could have put a little bit more thought into Ganondorf's motivations beyond just that he was destined to be evil. You know what I mean? Like, that's why Wind Waker Ganon is the most interesting one, because he's like the only one that isn't just like a straightforward bad guy for the sake of being a bad guy. Like, his whole motivation is actually pretty relatable, and I think really enhances the theme. And then there's also the fact, now that I'm thinking about it, there's also the fact that fucking they spend all this time building up the idea that when you eat one of the secret tears, the secret stone, imprisoning war, secret stone, imprisoning war, secret stone. Whenever you eat one of those, you become a dragon, and once you become a dragon, you're a dragon forever, and there's no coming back from it. So they put all this emotional weight on. Sorry for spoilers about fucking this video game that I don't like. When Zelda becomes that, and she eats a thing and becomes a dragon. They put so much emotional weight on that being like a choice that she could never take back. And now you can make the argument, well, but it's a Nintendo game. Of course they're going to undo that choice. But they didn't have to. They didn't have to. They could have done something else. They could have let it stick. Why not? They could have. I mean, it doesn't sound like they're wanting to do another direct sequel to this particular series anyway. So why not? Why not let the consequences stick? Why not let your story be more interesting? I also really didn't like the time travel stuff. I was hoping to really like the time travel stuff because, again, I felt like one of my biggest gripes with Skyward Sword was that it built up this like time travel element, and then it just doesn't do anything with it at all. I also really hate that it's like, it's the start of the Zelda timeline, and this is where everything began, and then you get into the game and it's all still like ancient ruins and nobody knows anything. They just always do this. Where it's like, this is the oldest part of the story, and then you get to that part and it's like, well, no, it's not, because there was other shit before that's old and whatever. I also don't like the shift that Fujibayashi's games have taken away from the polytheistic canon of the three goddesses to the monotheistic goddess. I've always found that to be such a bizarre shift that they brought the goddess in suddenly in Skyward Sword, and then they just sort of ran with it for the sequels. That's like my least favorite lore thing that they've done. But I found it really frustrating that the time travel stuff in Tears of the Kingdom, narratively, everything just sort of amounted to it happened because it was supposed to happen, which is, on the one hand, that is a classic time travel story trope. But on the other hand, it's boring as hell. And like, you wonder, like, what's up with the Sky Islands? Why are they there? Why are they like that? What are they doing here now? And when you get all the answers just turn out to be like, because Zelda said, oh, hey, there were Sky Islands. What was up with that? And so they were like, oh, I guess there are Sky Islands in the future. Well, I guess we better make sure there are Sky Islands in the future. So everything is just sort of a boring time loop. I just found that to be frustrating. Okay, I'm going to check. Started thinking of the bit where Zelda's eyes become visibly non-human and passed out. God, it's so true, though. That part is awesome. It was mid-sauce when you asked for spicy sauce. Exactly. Very disappointing that they didn't at least leave her with dragon furry features. Yes, 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 yes. Let Zelda stay furry. Let her be a furry. Let them all be furry. Like, why does... Yeah. I really don't like the way that the ending of Tears of the Kingdom just sort of undoes everything. Okay, well, Bill and Ted's solution to time travel. We're like, wait, where does the name Hylia come from? And then pick the strangest answer. Yeah. Yeah, okay. All right, well, I guess I've repaired my controllers. So now it's time to switch gears and give them a test. So I'm going to pause the stream. Oh, my microphone has been in frame this whole time, and I didn't even notice it because it blended in with the thing on my table. Okay, I'm gonna switch things, so there's gonna be some silence. Maybe I'll put on some music. I don't know what I'll do. But give me a few minutes. I gotta reposition my camera and take a break, go to the bathroom. But we still got stuff coming up. The stream, I'm gonna look into the resolution of the stream because it's streaming at like crazy low resolution. So I might, if the stream resets, like if it goes offline, stick around. It'll come back. I'm not going anywhere. I just might have to restart it to fix the resolution. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, thank you for joining me on this part. I'll be back in just a few minutes. Oh, hi, Iris. I'll be back in just a few minutes, repositioning this camera to aim at our CRT, and yeah, we'll get to the fun part. All right? Hello. Now I've got to get this to unflip the feed. We're back. Hello. This is fun. So let's see. Yeah, so it's upside down and reversed. This is because when I had this, yeah, I flipped it before. Oh, there we go. Flip horizontal, and where is that? Transform, flip, vertical. No. Transform, flip, vertical. Okay. This is fun. There we go. Hooray, we got there. All right. Okay, so hopefully there's not going to be any game audio here, unfortunately. I could probably figure out a way to set it up, but I don't know. We're doing it live. What do you want from me? Let's just up the gain a little bit here. Sorry, I have to sit in a weird position because of the camera. And I'm sort of... this is not the ideal playing situation, and where my microphone is set up, it's not at its most ideal position, but I'm going to try to make it work. So I have a EverDrive here, which lets me play all of the games. I have all of the games. All of them. So we're going to start off our test with the controller that is the Pokemon controller. I know you won't be able to see it by me holding it up. I'm going to turn this down. So let's see, how is that looking? Just wanting to adjust. So it looks good. Okay, so I'm using the Pokemon controller that just has the refurbished stick with the original parts. And that's pretty dark. Let's bring it up a teensy bit. So the trick with filming a CRT is that you want it to be just slightly out of focus, because that's closer to how our eyes perceive a CRT. Now there's a couple of issues here. I have my CRT at a bit of an angle from the camera, which is why you're getting that moire on the right side. That's just because if I had it dead on with the camera, it would be that much harder for me to play it. Oh, right, this is a ROM, so it's not my save file. I have my original cartridge down there. I don't know why I didn't just bother putting that in. Yeah, this is old school Let's Playing. I actually did a Let's Play back in like 2013, 2014. It was just one video of me playing through Saints Row 3. That was just me filming my CRT then. This is a classic style here. So far this feels like about what I would expect. Ouch. I don't know how that hit me. I've never been hit by a guy that way, but there we go. So far this feels pretty average. It's definitely a little bit loose. So it's a little, it does the job. It feels all right. This is horrible. This feels all right. This stick feels okay. Yeah, that was sort of a GDC moment, wasn't it? Wow, this never happened before. Yeah, eat shit. What? I'm not going for medals here. They're coming from... You've got an enemy on your rear, on your tail. Use the brake. I'm showing myself as... I've played this game 10 million times. How do I not have all the lines memorized? I have most of them memorized. It's different when you're playing it without audio. Get the ones behind me. Yeah, I guess I should be thankful. You're welcome, Falco. Yeah, so this stick feels fine. Let's go the one I'm second most curious about. I guess I'm kind of curious about all of them, but now we're going to the pink stick. The new parts in an old controller. Let's see how this feels. It's not a disaster. It doesn't not work. So that's good. I'm gonna be completely fucking real with you right now. I 100% expected to plug this in and for it to either not work or it to be just like disastrously bad, just not functional at all. But this feels like a control stick. Whoa. There we go. Follow me, Fox. Okay, so it felt for a second like maybe it was... Did I not pick up that? Oh, well. Felt for a second like it was maybe a little loose. I don't know. What if I pivoted to Star Fox speedrunning? I'm going to be completely fucking real with you on this one. I've thought about it. I've genuinely thought about it. I've thought about doing Star Fox speedrunning. The reason... The thing about Star Fox is, it's an on-rails shooter. There's a pretty firm ceiling on how fast you can beat this game. I don't know that there's a lot of like min-maxing to be done in terms. I would have to look into what they all look like, how they all feel. I'm having an easy time holding this position. That's nice. This is way... Oh my god. Okay, this is... I'm really feeling how much tighter this one is. Let's see if I can get him before he turns around. Get out of my way, Slippy. Oh my god, I fucking nailed his ass. We're Star Fox. You'll never defeat Andros. Anyway, that's pretty good. Wow, I'm surprised. I'm used to not being able to hold the reticle in one place quite that reliably. Um, the stick still feels a little bit, just a teensy bit overbearing, but are a little bit stiff. But it works, man. It's working pretty good. No metal though. Didn't quite go hard enough for the full metal. Full Metal Alchemist. I don't know. All right, well, let's switch now to the Hall Effect controller. This one I'm also very curious about. I could never get into Star Fox. That's wild. So I was always terrible at video games, but I played the ever-loving heck out of Star Fox. It's like my favorite video game ever. But yeah, I've thought about doing Star Fox speedrunning, and I just don't know where the ceiling on that is. You know, if I were to get into that, it would be solely for my own fun. And not necessarily because I expected to actually do any records. I don't know. Let's see. So now I'm doing the Hall Effect control stick, which is basically a GameCube control stick that is a very different method for reading stick inputs. So this is the one that I expect to feel very different and the one that I'm the most sort of intellectually curious about. Whoa. Okay. I gotta remember to play the video game. How do I feel about this? This is weird. Oh yeah, the mechs in this are fun. I didn't really get a lot of them. Oh, I love when everybody flies in formation. It's so much fun. Weird. It feels like it's really sort of unwieldy. Yeah, fake Zakus. That is kind of what they are, huh? Ouch. The enemy's coming from behind. Well, I'll use the brakes. You gonna poke your head up here? Or no, that's later. Oh. Huh. This is very different. I don't even really know. It's not at all what I was expecting. I was expecting it to feel different. It feels like it's... I think this is something that I knew was true, but I wasn't sure how it would actually manifest. It feels like it has a wider range of motion than is physically possible on with the corner cutoffs in the stick module. So it sort of feels like around the edges I'm not quite getting the feel that I was hoping for. Well, I don't know, or the feel that I'm used to. It feels like it's more sensitive in the cardinal directions, but when you get into the diagonals, it starts to be a little bit, I don't know. Maybe I should, you know what? I think I'm going to try I'm going to try playing Super Mario 64. Superman 64. That's the one. I'm going to see how this feels. True gamers know the barrel roll. Don't forget to do a barrel roll or try a somersault. Ease the brakes. Ease the boost to get through. Uh-oh. Oh, that was because I probably was futzing with the stick whenever it reset. Hello? Okay. Okay. Okay, that's better. Interesting. Yeah, so it's got weird. Yeah, I'm just sort of trying to feel out. I'm gonna swap this back for the new parts. Let's see how this feels. Oh, I like this a lot more. Oh, wow. I don't know how to describe the difference. Felt like Mario 64 doesn't hold up if you didn't grow up with it, but I did and love it because of that. Yeah, basically. I don't think I put the Z trigger back together on this right. That feels like that's not. Yeah, that's what it's supposed to sound like. That's what it's sounding like. Yeah, I gotta go back in and figure that out. It's a game that was welcoming in 1996, very unwelcoming in the current era. Yeah, I suppose that's true. Come on, Lakitu. I'm trying to do some shit here. Can you leave me alone? It's been so long since I... There we go. Side flip. Okay, let's swap back out for the Hall effect. Okay. Huh. Weirdly, that doesn't feel too bad. It's hard to say. This definitely feels distinctly different. But it feels like I maybe have a bit more control for precise platforming. It almost feels like I'm leading him. That's so weird. Sorry for not actually playing the video game beyond this area. I'm just sort of getting a feel for the controls, and I don't want to... I ain't here to be playing a lot of this game, and I don't want to subject y'all to a lot of this game without any audio at all. Interesting. Switch back to this one. See how we like it. Well, so I guess it feels like the Hall effect stick is less snappy on the diagonals. It feels like, well, you can turn at angles here. I think it's a little snappy on that radius. Interesting. Sure, this is the only time anyone's shown off SM64 on camera. This is how it was meant to be experienced, baby. Yeah, some of this is so I guess I'll get into a little bit of my ulterior motives for this stream, where I'm doing a lot of testing for my Majora's Mask project. I'm going to be filming a lot of this monitor, and I don't know. I guess I wanted to just put it under some stress and see how it feels. Because I think something that I'm considering doing. I've been wanting to get back into doing live streams, not as much as I used to. Because I streamed way too much back in like 2018, 2019, and I burned myself way the fuck out. But streaming is fun, and it also, beyond it being fun, it like a podcast, it puts you on a schedule, and it keeps you honest a little bit if you stick to it the right way, and it's just good practice. It's good to keep up with being able to speak extemporaneously. And so I've been thinking about potentially, I don't want to stream my playthrough of Majora's Mask, because part of the whole point of the video that I'm eventually going to do is that I'm not going to chat for help. And so I don't want to inadvertently get tips from people. I don't want to frustrate. Part of it is that I'm just really bad at playing video games when I'm actually playing them. And I don't, I'll probably spend a lot of time just sitting in silence going, what the fuck do I do now? And then sort of flipping through pages. And maybe there are some sickos out there who think that sounds like really good video content. But I prefer to leave that for myself as a solitary experience, because I wouldn't have had chat talking to me on my computer in 1997 or 98 when I was playing Majora's Mask, or would have been playing Majora's Mask. I had Majora's Mask. I still have it. Actually, before I switch gears, I'm going to put in Majora's Mask. Let's see. Let's get that cartridge up here. Using the 2000 1998 was Ocarina. Wow. One of the weird things about my analog setup that I've noticed is that it's without intervention on the circuit, it's extremely blown out. It's like the TV or somewhere along the line, like maybe the TV is tuned for a lower capacity. I don't know what it would be, but it just feels like everything is overexposed. And so yeah, I'm just sort of, I don't know. I do have methods for fixing that. I can take the mask off. Yeah, so I'm wanting to see. One thing that's thrown me off is that as I've been playing more N64, I've finally started using the controller the way I guess most people used it, where you have your left hand on the center post and your right hand on the right post. I always had my left hand on the far left post, and I would just move my thumb across to use the stick, and that's how I played all of my games. But I've been trying to like actually get some of the end game stuff in Star Fox 64, so I switched over so I would have the shoulder buttons more accessible. And so the thing that's throwing me off about how did I do the Z button though, I just reached over with my middle finger. I just reached across. I just reached across, baby. I was a freak. I don't know what to tell you. I was a dumb little kid. It feels like there's something. It feels like something isn't quite right. Let's switch back to the Hall effect. There you are. Because this is really where the rubber meets the road here, deciding on which controller I want to use when I play through this game for myself. I don't know. This almost feels more responsive, although it is still kind of clicky in the directions. It feels like you can get, God, the difference between a walk and a run. Oh, it's razor thin. There's like a little bit of a zone off center that is your walk, and then you just get it a little bit further and you're already at a full run, and that's a lot of space. How does that compare to this one? Yeah, I had big hands. Let's see. Yeah, weird. Like most of your range. Wow, that's crazy. Wow. So I'm like, that's at center. Here's the point at which it would go into a walk. God, that feels like the circle of action on this is like, I know the rubber has met the road many times. It feels like I have more control over, little shuffle there, somewhat more control over my over my speed on a small scale. What if I switched over to this one? What if I switched over to the third controller and see how that felt? Ugh. Oh yeah, this one. Oh yeah, this one is giving me a lot more resistance in terms of where the zone is. It's even further out. That's wild. Wowza, wowza, wowza. No, I'm nothing really, nothing really, man. um, Bouncing and moaning on the road, Jesus. Um, yeah. Huh. Yeah. So this doesn't. The refurbished original stick is like fine. Let's get back to the new parts. I think I'm leaning. I think I'm leaning towards these new parts. It's just got a bit of a chunky feel. I don't know. It feels right. It feels pretty good. It still feels a little bit like the mechanism inside still has maybe somewhat more resistance than what I would want, but I feel, I don't know. It's weird. I think the thing with these two types of control sticks is like they have almost the opposite issue, where the Hall effect stick is like you have a microscopic range off center where you can get low speed, and then it just goes full tilt. Whereas here, you go way off center to get to there, and then from there you have more leeway to get up to a trot and then into a full run. Or maybe that's just the only speeds that there is. Yeah, okay, so this animation has... So it's definitely... Okay, so it is registering the input here without... Okay, so that... All right. Okay, so then it goes into a slight walk, and then this animation has a bit of speed, and then, yeah, so it's right at the edge. I don't know. I think I like the original stick mechanism better. Let me switch back one more time. So much of this project, right, is about the way that it was originally intended, and that's important to an extent. But I was also like totally willing to just stick with the Hall effect stick, the new one, if I liked it more. It does feel more modern. There's way less resistance. It is smooth. It does feel sort of like it does feel more like a modern controller. I don't love how clicky it is at the edges. That something about that just doesn't quite feel right to me. But if you get it, yeah, there's like this little bit of range here. God, yeah, like it's really tough to get him from this. Yeah, that's such a subtle move. God, yeah, it's like on the other stick, it's this little trot right up to the very edge, and then once you put it up to the edge, it's the full run. Whereas I get up to a full run, and I have like 2 or 3 millimeters. What's that? Let's just go forward. Let's get up to that run. Yeah. Oh God, I have Wow, that's a solid millimeter or two of distance between the center pillar and the top of the module. That's crazy. It's like the exact opposite of the original stick. That's so weird. Why is it like that? I don't know. I don't know. This is so strange. Why does this? Hope you're all enjoying this very bizarre stream. Night of the first day. 60 hours remain. Shut up, dog. I don't know why I'm being mean to the dog. Um, yeah, I guess this stick feels more frictive. This is the pink stick. This one feels more frictive because it is physically giving me more resistance. It is harder. I don't want to say much harder, but it is harder to move. It's not like it's stiff. It's not like overly stiff or bad. I mean, maybe it is by traditional standards, but I'm just going by what I have based on my amateur putting it back together. Um, it's got more physical resistance, so it doesn't feel quite as smooth as the Hall effect stick does. However, yes, I do love the word frictive. It's a good word, okay? However, the I don't know, the smoothness of the Hall effect stick is almost it almost makes it feel too weightless. Somehow the resistance of this stick, I don't know. It contributes to a vibe. It's doing something. Too many innuendos happening to even keep up with. Hi, hi, Pip. Uh, yeah, this is it's interesting. Um, I I don't know. I was really ready to be like, okay, well, I like the Hall effect stick more, so fuck it. I will violate my uh, the original experience supremacy vibe for this one particular aspect, but I think I do prefer the original stick mechanism. I probably will end up swapping them out more as I play the game, uh, just to further test. But right now, I kind of like how this stick feels. That's sort of fascinating. I wasn't sure how I was gonna like it, especially when I was putting it together and it got stuck. Oh, I'm gonna have to take this controller apart again anyway, and sort of uh, yeah, realign the Z trigger because something's a little bit messed up there. But okay, well, that's fun. I am satisfied with this test wise. So I'm happy to call that a conclusion, more or less. However, before we're done, I want to switch gears completely into showing off some of my analog glitch stuff that I have. But first, I have to go. I'm gonna see if I what because I'm gonna use my VCR for my output instead of the N64. So I'm gonna see what I have on tape. I'm gonna run and grab a tape, and then I'm gonna put some wires into some places. It'll take me like 2 minutes, and then I'll be right back. So we'll be back. Okay. All right. Hello. I'm back. I was drinking some water. Stay hydrated. Hydration check. Everybody drink water. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I have a tape cassette hooked into a VCR. I've also got my two little glitch modules here. You probably won't be able to see them. But this is what they look like. Try to get myself out of the way. So basically, the one that looks like a tape cassette is a mixer. It's a dirty video mixer. And then the one that looks like a guitar pedal is an enhancer. So the mixer, basically what I'm doing is I have the video output from the VCR that I have on a splitter. So it's going in two directions. One direction is going directly into the enhancer, which is a very glitch heavy thing, and then that's going into the mixer. And then I have another feed that is straight, the second feed from the VCR that's going directly into the mixer, and then the mixer is then outputting to the TV. So the idea there is that no matter how distorted the glitch feed looks, there is still an undercurrent of the original video that is still readable. So the effects are not quite as distortive. And I can daisy chain this in the opposite direction. There's a lot of, I've played around with this in a couple of different ways. So that's the basic rundown. The tape that I have decided to pull out, I had been playing with the Muppet Christmas Carol, but I want to try something else. So I have this tape that I got from Scarecrow Video like a year ago. That is a children's cartoon, Mari Sendak's Really Rosie. Again, I do not expect you to be able to actually see that because I know it's underexposed. But yeah, so there will be no audio once again. Okay. So I have a number of dials and knobs here, and I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to just see what I can make happen. Real quick, with this stuff, it is... Let's see. Okay, so it's very easy to get screen tear that is like rolling shutter that starts to look kind of bad. So let's see what we can do. So the point of bringing that up is if you have photosensitivity, this is your warning that there might be some issues. So let's see. I've only used this on like live action stuff, so I wanted to play it on a animated film to see what kind of fun it can cause there. Let's see. Oh. Oh. Let's chill you out a little. Interesting. So basically what I'm doing here is in future videos, I want to play... nobody did it like Sendak, it's really true. In future videos, I want to play with this stuff more. You know, I want to bring in more glitch effects and find ways to implement them. in the videos, so I'm sort of just playing around with what's possible. Okay, I'm not loving how this is currently daisy chained, so let's just go straight through the enhancer. So let's reset. Okay. Yeah, so now we have a bit more leeway, because now we're really just transforming the image. Yeah, so now this is more like the level of the thing with this stuff is it's really finicky. It's fun. It's weird how dynamic it is, and how like reactive it can be, where it feels like you're always, there we go, got it. When you get that screen roll going, it can be so tough to get it to stop. It just feels like you're sort of fighting with the tech to get it to do what you want to do. Wow. So it plays really nicely with high contrast images. Wow, look at that. Oh, that's fun. Wowza. That's what it looks like normally. And now let's fuck it up. Let's fuck it up in a different direction. Ooh. So you can mix your effects here and get them to do all sorts of weird stuff. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now we're talking. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sort of thinking about like sort of utilizing these effects in a video to kind of create interesting emotions. Just sort of seeing what's possible. Ugh. Whoa. So yeah, I'm sort of like, what if there was a video where at a moment of emotion it went from a sort of standard look to suddenly just like whoosh, and then it kind of goes back and woof, you know. I don't know. I'm just curious. I there's a lot of really great glitch artists out there, most of whom are trans women. Surprising everybody. It's so out of character for a trans woman to be into this sort of thing. And what they do is really cool. And I've just always been really curious, like, how do you take this sort of stuff, which is generally the main use case for this technology is live shows. It seems like pretty much all of the sort of like analog glitch tech is designed for live shows in some capacity, which is awesome. I love that stuff at live shows. But I feel like there's got to be utility for it elsewhere beyond music and video. And like there's Zoe Wolf and a whole consortium of other glitch artists who get together and do like sort of not fan edits exactly of movies, but like glitch edits where they just everybody takes like a different scene and applies their own sort of glitch effects to them, and they sort of like cut together a new version of the movie that's all fucked up. There's a lot of ones. Could you use a live feed if it was hooked up to an analog camcorder? Yes, I could. That is one thing I'm thinking about. I've been thinking about getting an analog camcorder of some kind. That's definitely on the menu for me. I want to at some point. And I've imagined how that could be useful in the Majora's Mask video even. And so, yeah, I don't know what I would do with it exactly, or how I would do with it, but uh, I feel like there's got to be space here. And there's so many more things that I could do. Like, I have these 2 modules, and I already feel like I have a pretty amazing amount of creative space. That's something else. That's wild. Whoa. Whoa. um, wow. I have played around with this a little bit while it's plugged into my N64, but as you can imagine, it's very difficult to play an N64 game and do this at the same time. Um, yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's got to be some fun to be had with this stuff uh, in a video essay in a way that is implemented thoughtfully rather than just being a totally unrelated interlude. That's sort of what I'm looking for, is how do you put this in the dialect of film? I mean, I guess ironically enough, the easiest comparison point would be like a dream sequence, you know? I could see a dream sequence sort of slowly glitching out in these really weird ways. Like maybe cutting from just the standard feed to suddenly, well, weird that that's what the feed looks like. But I don't know. Just there's got to be room there. There's got to be something. I don't know. This is fun. Yeah, animation has a particular sort of unique quality in this. I haven't really played around with much animation. I do love Mari Sendak's character designs. He's so good at drawing kids who are just so over it. This kid's just like, I don't care. What the hell? Why don't I try putting in... How about... Where did I put that? Where did I put that? There it is. Ugh. Oh, beautiful. And now we're really going to get copyright mad because I'm putting in stop making sense. Let's fast forward a bit. All right. Let's see. Different visual glitch settings to imply different tones of voice. Honesty versus bullshit. Sarcasm versus sincerity. Small talk versus big talk. That's an interesting thought. You know, that's an interesting thought. Yeah, you know, animation looks cool, but there's something about live footage that does... It is more... There's more noise for it to react to, for sure. Whoa. I'm trying to remember which part of the song he's at. I can't turn the volume on because then I would get whatever. Who gives a shit about copyright? Psycho Killer Kiss Kasei. Oh. And, oh. What the fuck? Seen any videos by Captain KRB, especially your newest vid at some cool analogs. Captain KRB. Captain KRB. Captain KRB. Interesting. No, I have not seen any of this person's videos. Your Domain does not... I have seen Your Domain Does Not Exist, their newest video. I have seen that show up in my feed. I'll have to give that a watch. That's curious. Whoa. Whoa! Oh, that's a lot of fun. I'm wondering how it would look with stop motion or pixelation. Yeah, there's a lot of room for play. Whoa. Oh, what? Whoa! Hell yeah! Now we're fucking talking. Ah. CRTs are such a fucking miracle. I genuinely am like, it's so cool that there is just this type of monitor that is just a gun that blasts light at a photosensitive chemical screen. And so it just displays whatever you put into it. It doesn't have an opinion about the way things should work, which, when you say it that way, that's like, well, yeah, it's just a piece of technology. Why should it have an opinion about anything? But modern televisions have very strong opinions about how images are supposed to look. So if you try to do this kind of thing with an HDMI TV, it'll cut out the signal long before you see anything weird. Whereas a CRT is just like, yeah, man, fuck it. Let's just go. Let's see what happens. Personally, I wouldn't want to look at this for very long, but if that's what you're into, what the hell? Oh, this movement makes me gasp every fucking time when he stops and looks at the camera. It's so good. It's so fucking good while they're building the set. This movie rules, man. And it just does. It's unbelievable. Every time I think I've like hit the limit of what I think this stuff can do, I like flip a switch. Because there's so many different, there's 2 switches and then there's 4 dials, and each of them behaves slightly differently when other things are engaged, and it's so fascinating how things just kind of. Whoa! It just sort of does shit. You just, what? Come on. Wow. This is so cool. Yeah, it just does shit. And you're like, how did I get that? I don't know how I got that. I'm never going to be able to get that ever again. And now it's time to learn about the bar in heaven. Whoa. those are nice colors. You can also get some really nice colors. Wow. Oh, heaven, heaven is a place where nothing ever happens. Can't carry a tune for my life. Wow. I'm gonna be completely transparent. I'm gonna be completely transparent with you. This entire stream, the whole N64 controller thing, it was all just like I needed to do that because I needed to do that. But the carrot at the end of the stick that was making me get to the point where I would actually do this was, and then at the end of it all, I'm gonna play around with my my funny little VHS toy. But like, yeah, like these lines that expand, right? Like there's definitely got to be like room for, explosion of emotion, or sort of this like ramping like. Oh, whoa! He looks like a corpse almost. Yeah, there's stuff here, you know? Yes, I can use this distorter with an N64 signal. I can use this on anything that puts out in AV. Whoa, yeah, and I've even tried playing. I guess I could. Hell, I guess I could just do that right now. I could just do that right now. Let's stop you. Let's take you out. Put the EverDrive back in. Yeah, EverDrive back in. Which controller do I want to use? I want to use this one. Okay. Here, and then I'm going to switch things up. So where's the N64? Here. Okay. Now where's your input? Here. Bam. And then bam. Ugh. I have a whole setup here that I have fine-tuned. There we go. Got to get everything set back to normal. Neutral. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah. So here we go. So when I said earlier that it feels like the video feed straight out is like weirdly overexposed. So this is sort of the full signal, right? And this enhancer has a thing that lets me turn down the intensity of the signal. And so it's not until it's like I turn it down maybe by like, geez, that's like 35% where I feel like it's natural. Which is sort of weird. Let's play Extreme G. that's awful. There we go. Oh, wow. I love video games. I can totally tell what's happening. And now I'm going to try to futz with these effects while I'm playing the video game. Oh my god. Okay, now I can see. And I'm only an 8th. I used to play this game all the time as a kid. I've never been very good at it. Actually, here's an opportunity to try the Hall effect stick again. So let's pull you out. And swaparoo, 7 p.m. Probably going to end the stream fairly soon. I got to eat some food. Gonna go watch the last episode of Severance with my beautiful girlfriend. But, oh, interesting. Oh, this, well, it's weird. It sort of almost feels better, but it also sort of almost feels too overeager. Weird. I don't know how to square that circle. What? Whoa. Wowza. This looks crazy. Ooh, that's fun. Whoa! I love it when you can pull out this weird bloom. I'm gonna fire my missiles. I'm gonna fire my missiles again. Is it? Nope. Is it? Nope. Aha! Figured it out. I want to see if I can get... I just want to see if I can get the... Let's... Whoa. Let's see how that feels. If I can just get it to stay colorful. Whoa. 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 Yeah, now we're talking. Oh, hi, Janet. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Wow. There's so much weird. Now, if I can just get it. Weird. Well, yeah, so you've seen sort of what this stuff is tech capable of. It's actually getting close to the effect that I wanted. Yes, there we go. There we go. I like it when you can get these like weird I don't know how to describe them. This weird stuff in the shadows where it just sort of blows out on the edges. I think that's a lot of fun. Wowza. Video games, huh? Video games. Okay. I think I'm going to call it there, folks. Thank you so much for joining me on this delightful little journey. It's been a while since I've done a stream. I think I've learned a few things. I don't know when I will be back doing more streams, but I might come back. We'll see what happens. We'll see how I feel about this one. I hope you all had a good time, and I hope you have a really good weekend. I would encourage each and every one of you to do something for yourself this weekend that does not involve the world at large. Something good that makes you feel better, even if it's just a little thing. The way that we survive this moment is by choosing not to know literally absolutely every evil thing that is going on, and instead taking time to center ourselves. And we've got to be in it for the long haul. And in order to be in it for the long haul, you've got to have your own life that you can come back to. And that means staying sane and staying happy. And maybe that feels indulgent or irresponsible, but we didn't pick the world that we were born into. We didn't pick any of this, but we're here and we have to live with it. And I don't know. This whole stream and these projects that it's all kind of attached to are all my desire to find a way to do some types of things, video stuff, stream stuff, content creation, I hate that phrase, that doesn't burn me out, that doesn't make me hate what I'm doing, that isn't so hyper political that it becomes outdated instantly. So I don't know, sorry for rambling. I'm just feeling some kinds of ways about stuff. Take care of yourselves, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I'll definitely see you when next I see you. See you later.